Some of you are going to be familiar with this TV because I've had it on test for 3 weeks. 3 weeks? Well, almost 3 weeks. It's excessive, isn't it?
Candy-colored clown they call the Sandman. Tiptoes to my room every night. Just to sprinkle sky.
There you go. Better kill that before we get a copyright strike. Funnily enough, I didn't get a copyright strike yesterday when doing the test on the darn thing. But you never know, do you? But I'm pleased to say that that's back in service again, and I've had it on all day while I've been doing some repairs, and it's really nice to hear the music again. Obviously, I can't play it while I'm doing my YouTube repairs because otherwise they moan at me and take my money away like naughty school bullies taking dinner money from children. What am I talking about? I don't really know. Hello peeps, how you doing? It's Friday night. I'm shattered. This is just going to be a quick one. Because I'm asking the question, how long should I put something on test for repair? Because my personal opinion is, if something comes in faulty and you fix that fault, let it go. But there are exclusions to that, and I'm just about to show you an exclusion because I've had this in for 2.5 weeks, and I'm just going to give it its final test, and hopefully it can go away over the weekend or on Monday. Some engineers will keep things on test for 2-3 weeks, just like I've done for this one. But there are some obvious exclusions, aren't there? So if a TV comes in that's dead and you fix the power supply or put a new power supply in or a main board or whatever, then it's fixed, isn't it? You switch it on, it comes on, that's job done. You're not expecting anything else. You can't hold that particular power supply to ransom and say, oh, I'll keep it on test for 3 weeks. That's pointless. Again, if a TV comes in with backlight issues, you put a brand new set of backlights in. Pointless keeping on test for 3 weeks. You're wasting backlights. But as far as this next one is concerned, as I said, there's always the exception to the rule. Always. And this is, now you've seen this before, you've probably seen this twice. How many times do you want to see it? I really like this TV because it's got the picture frame. This is the LG 55-inch TV. That came in because as soon as you switched it on, it would go into a reboot process. So I did a diagnostics on it. I did a diagnosis video on this. And if you disconnected one side of the LEDs, it would stop rebooting. If you disconnected the other side of the LEDs and plugged that one back in, it would stop rebooting and vice versa. So I decided that the power supply, the LED inverter, was struggling under load. And the reason I came up with that diagnosis, some other people said it could be the LEDs, and it could be the LEDs. Absolutely. But the reason I came under is because I've got, let's say that this TV has got form. This TV has got form, mate, as they would say in Minder and the Sweeney. This power supply has got form, and the LED driver has got form. So I got a brand new board and stuck it in, and it worked fine. I didn't have an issue with it. But the customer said it's always the worst when he's been away for a week or two. And funnily enough, he's been away for 2 weeks. He's coming back on Monday. So I said, well, let me put this brand new power supply in. I'll test it on day one, which I have done, and see what happens. And I have proved that it worked fine on day one. I'm just going to make sure that it's not switched on, and it is. So let me switch off the little mains thing here and plug it in, because I don't want it coming on and I can't see it. That wouldn't make sense. So this has been switched off for 2 weeks, and that's always the problem. If it's been left to go cold for 2 weeks, if he's unplugged it, that's when it would always start rebooting. So if it reboots now, we'll know that there is something coming from the backlights that's causing this fault. If it doesn't reboot now, if it comes straight on, then we can assume that that new power supply did the job. So I'm switching on in 3, 2, 1 for the first time in 2 weeks and 2 days, technically. And it comes straight on. Let's hope it doesn't reboot. It used to reboot usually a second after either this came on or after we'd get some apps that come up. But so I'm just going to give it another second, and it would switch off and come back on with the LED logo. So I can report to the customer that I've let it rest for 2 weeks, plugged it in, and it's fine. Because the last time he went away for 2 weeks, came back, and he couldn't switch it on. But I'm very interested in your comments and your take on this, because everyone's take is different. Some people, and I think it's the engineers from probably just before my time, the electronics guys just before my time, especially those that are dealing with valve and CRTs, you did have to test things. But the bosses, the bosses of Granada and Radio Rentals must have put the engineers under immense pressure to say, get it back to the customer, get it back to the customer. But some engineers would stick their ground and say, no, we don't want it coming back because that's causing us extra work. We want to make sure it works. Now, on this rare occasion, I've had the opportunity to keep it for a couple of weeks because, as I say, the owner is on holiday. It's had a new power supply fitted, and it all seems to be absolutely fine. Everything seems to be good with it. You can never be 100%, but if you remember when we first plugged it in, it did the rebooting, and then it was constantly rebooting until I switched the backlights around. But at the moment, it is looking like this is going to be fine. So I had an opportunity to keep this. It would have been pointless plugging it every day and testing it, because that doesn't prove really what the customer said. He said if he went away for a week or two, it was impossible to get back on. This is the first time this has been switched on in 2 weeks and 2 days, and it's absolutely fine. And I've got a feeling that it's going to stay absolutely fine, but you never know. You really don't know. And also, when I test something, I test it on full fat mains. I don't test it on isolated mains, because we've had problems before where something will work perfectly on isolated mains, which I have. My isolation transformer, as you know, is over there. But you plug it into full fat mains and it just doesn't want to work. So this is currently working absolutely fine on full fat mains. And I've had the opportunity to keep this for, well, I've had this for 3 weeks now. But the customer can have it back. I think Monday he comes back, so he'll take it back and it'll be ready to go. But 3 weeks is, lights coming on. 3 weeks is completely excessive, really. If you think you've repaired something, you've got to put some faith in your ingenuity when it comes to repairing things. But there is such a thing as an intermittent fault, and they drive you crazy, because the damn thing can work fine for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it comes back. And I'm not saying that this won't, but if it does, it could just mean that the LED drivers on this are rubbish. But I don't think that is the case. I think the LED driver was weak. And as soon as we put another board with another LED driver, it sorted it out. And I stand by the fact that if you repair a power supply because the TV is dead, and then the power supply works and the TV comes back on, you give it the customer back that day. Same with a backlight repair. Let them have it that day. And the other thing is, I don't want the TVs hanging around here. I want them gone. I want the money in the bank, or money in the pocket, or money in the pub. And I want to move on to the next project. Keeping things on test for 2 or 3 weeks is definitely not in my best interest. This one, it was, because I wanted to be as sure that I've done everything I could to make sure that the repair is absolutely fine. It's warmed up a little bit. I am now going to switch off and switch on, and just hope to God that it doesn't reboot again. So let's just test one more time. It was within 10 seconds of seeing the not programmed message that it would switch off and go back to the LG logo and boot back up again. I'm fairly confident that that is sorted out the problem. So I'm fairly confident that I can put all the screws back in this and give it back to the customer. And that's another one sorted. But this is the exception to the rule. I don't like things being here for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I like things being collected within 24 hours of them being repaired. If I've told the customer it's repaired, then I like it to be collected. And I always give, as well as an estimate of how much, I always give an estimate of how long it would take, because that's what they want to know. 2 things they always want to know: how much is it going to cost, and how long is it going to be? And there's nothing worse, and we do get it, not very often, but we get it. We get customers calling every day. Is it ready yet? Is it fixed? No, I said a week. And then they'll call back next day. I did say a week. It'll be ready on Friday, hopefully. And then they call Friday, and you can eventually say, yes, it's ready. Come and collect it. It's £95. And they'll say, all right, I'm busy at the moment, but I hope to get to the end of next week, maybe the end of the month. And you think, but you've been calling every day, and I don't want it lying around here. Hey, welcome to the world of repairs. But I'd be interested in your comments. How long should it be? Do you agree with me that if it's repaired, it's repaired? I didn't know this one was completely repaired. I wanted to give it the 2 weeks that the customer had, so I can say that I've done that and tested it that way. But I think that is complete. Notice I say I think. Can't guarantee. We're dealing with electronics here, you know. Work today, maybe not tomorrow. But I'm 99% sure that is going to be fine, and that can move on. Have a wonderful weekend, peeps. Snooker starts tomorrow. I've not been in love with snooker for ages, but I'm giving it... I'm trying to sort out, without getting into too much detail, a work-life balance. And definitely most of you will know that I'm kind of that much work and that much life at the moment, and I'm trying to balance it up a little bit. And what do I mean by that? I'm trying now to go into the living room at 11 o'clock at night and watch a late night movie, sit down, cup of coffee, maybe a sandwich, something like that, just to rest. If I've got to come back out afterwards, yeah. But rather than stay in workshops sort of 18 hours a day. So I am trying. You've probably noticed. Anyway, have a nice weekend, but I'm sure I'll speak to you tomorrow as soon as the snookers board me, which will probably be by hour 2. Take care, guys. Bye.